Have you ever felt weighed down by the burdens of your past? Do you find yourself clinging to memories, relationships, or possessions that no longer serve you? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that all that weight is gone. Letting go can be a transformative experience, but it's not always easy. In this video, we will explore the power of letting go through the lens of Buddhism, offering insights that can help you live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Every day, we encounter moments that challenge us. Perhaps you've had a tough conversation with a friend that leaves you feeling heavy inside. Or maybe you've lost something dear to you and can't seem to move forward. These situations often lead us to cling tighter to what we have, afraid to lose more. But what if we told you that by releasing these attachments, you could find true freedom? What if letting go could open the door to new opportunities and relationships? For example, think of a tree shedding its leaves in autumn. While it may seem sad to lose those vibrant colors, it makes way for new growth in spring. In the same way, we too can experience rebirth by releasing what no longer serves us. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we delve into the teachings of Buddhism and the art of letting go. This channel is dedicated to helping you navigate the complexities of life with grace and wisdom. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more valuable insights to you. In this journey, we'll uncover how letting go can lead to a lighter heart, a clearer mind, and a deeper connection with the world around you. Let's embark on this path together, exploring the beautiful practice of letting go and discovering the power it holds in our lives. Understanding attachment, roots of suffering. Welcome back, dear listener. Let's dive into something we all experience but may not fully understand: attachment. Think about your daily life. How often do you find yourself holding on to things, people, or even emotions? Maybe it's a relationship, a job, or a particular outcome you hope for. You feel safe when you have it, but anxious and uncomfortable when you think about losing it. This is what we call attachment, and it is at the heart of much of our suffering. In Buddhism, attachment is considered one of the primary causes of suffering. We hold on to things because we believe they define us, bring us happiness, or give us security. But in truth, the more we cling, the more we struggle. Just like trying to hold on tightly to sand. No matter how hard you grip it, it slips through your fingers. The same happens in life. The tighter we hold on to things, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment and pain. Think for a moment about how often you felt disappointed or upset because things didn't go the way you planned. Maybe a loved one didn't respond the way you hoped, or perhaps a career opportunity slipped away. In those moments, you were attached to a specific outcome. You were so focused on how things should be that you missed the peace that comes from simply accepting things as they are. Let me give you an example from daily life. Picture this. You've planned a picnic with your friends. You've thought about it all week, the food, the laughter, the sunshine. But on the day of the picnic, it rains. Instead of enjoying the moment or finding joy in the company of your friends, your mind is stuck on what should have been a sunny, perfect day. You feel frustrated, maybe even angry. This frustration comes from your attachment to that perfect image in your mind. But what if instead you let go of that expectation? What if you found beauty in the rain, laughter in the unexpected? The day wouldn't be ruined, it would just be different, and you'd still find joy in it. Now, let's take this understanding a little deeper. The Buddha taught that life is full of change, and nothing stays the same forever. Yet, we often act as if things should stay the same. We get attached to the way things are or the way we want them to be. And when life inevitably changes, we suffer because we are holding on to something that's no longer there. For example, we get attached to relationships, hoping they will always stay the same. But people change, circumstances change, and sometimes relationships come to an end. This can be incredibly painful if we are too attached. It doesn't mean we shouldn't care about people or things. Caring is natural, and it's part of being human. But there's a difference between caring and clinging. When we cling, we expect things to be permanent in a world that is constantly changing. This is the root of suffering. In Buddhism, we learn that everything is impermanent. Everything changes, everything ends. This might sound sad at first, but it's actually a key to freedom. When we understand impermanence, we can begin to loosen our grip. We can enjoy things while they last, but we don't cling to them when they change or disappear. This understanding helps us live more peacefully. Let's take a closer look at how attachment affects our relationships. Many of us form deep attachments to the people we love. We want them to behave in a certain way, meet our expectations, or stay with us forever. But when they don't meet those expectations, or when they leave, we suffer. Attachment in relationships can create a lot of tension and heartache. For instance, imagine you are in a relationship and you expect your partner to always make you happy. But that's a heavy burden to place on someone else. No one can make us happy all the time. When we cling to that expectation, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And when we feel disappointed, we may even blame the other person for not meeting our needs, when in reality, it's our attachment that is causing the suffering. Letting go of attachment in relationships doesn't mean we stop caring or loving. In fact, it allows us to love more freely. Instead of loving someone for what they can give us or how they make us feel, we love them for who they are, without needing them to fulfill our expectations. This kind of love is more peaceful and more genuine because it's not based on attachment. Now, let's talk about attachment to material things. We live in a world that encourages us to accumulate more. More money, more possessions, more status. We are taught that these things will make us happy, but they often lead to more anxiety. We worry about losing what we have or not having enough. This is another form of attachment that creates suffering. Think about the last time you bought something you really wanted. A new phone, a piece of clothing, or a car. It probably made you feel happy, excited even. But how long did that feeling last? A few days, maybe a few weeks? Eventually, that excitement fades, and we're left wanting more. This cycle of wanting and dissatisfaction is driven by attachment. We believe that external things can bring us lasting happiness, but they never do. True happiness doesn't come from things. It comes from within, from a sense of peace and contentment that isn't dependent on what we have or don't have. When we stop clinging to material possessions and the idea that they will make us happy, we can begin to find joy in the present moment, just as it is. So, how do we start letting go of attachment? It begins with awareness. The next time you feel anxious, disappointed, or upset, take a moment to ask yourself, what am I attached to here? Are you attached to a certain outcome? Are you holding on to an idea of how things should be? Once you become aware of your attachments, you can start to loosen your grip. One of the most powerful ways to let go of attachment is through mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to be fully present in each moment, without judgment and without clinging. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to experience life as it is, not as we want it to be. We learn to appreciate the beauty of the moment, even if it's not what we expected. Mindfulness also helps us observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. For example, if you notice that you're feeling anxious about something, instead of trying to push the feeling away or cling to the idea of how things should be, you can simply observe the feeling. You acknowledge that it's there, but you don't let it control you. This practice of observing without attachment brings us greater peace and clarity. In the end, understanding attachment is the first step toward freeing ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Life is full of changes, ups and downs, gains and losses. But when we learn to let go of our attachments, we can navigate these changes with greater ease and peace. The key is to hold things lightly, to care without clinging, and to love without expecting anything in return. As we continue on this journey, remember that letting go is not about giving up or being passive. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of attachment so that you can fully embrace the present moment and live a more peaceful, fulfilling life. Buddhist wisdom on impermanence. In our lives, we often chase after things that feel permanent. We cling to relationships, jobs, and even our own identities, believing that they will provide us with lasting happiness. But Buddhism teaches us an essential truth. Everything is impermanent. This understanding can change how we approach life and help us learn to let go. Impermanence, or anicca, is one of the 3 marks of existence in Buddhist philosophy. It reminds us that nothing lasts forever. Our feelings, our possessions, and even our lives are in a constant state of flux. When we recognize that everything is temporary, we can begin to release our tight grip on what we hold dear. Consider the changing seasons. Each season brings beauty in its own way, but they are all fleeting. Spring flowers bloom brightly, only to fade as summer heat sets in. Summer's warmth gives way to the crispness of autumn, and soon winter blankets the earth in quiet stillness. Each season has its moment, and while we may mourn the passing of one, we also look forward to the next. In our relationships, too, impermanence plays a crucial role. People enter our lives for different reasons, and not all relationships are meant to last. Some are meant to teach us lessons, while others help us grow. Embracing this idea can alleviate the fear of loss. Instead of trying to hold on to every relationship, we can cherish the moments we share and appreciate them for what they are. When we understand impermanence, we start to see our thoughts and emotions more clearly. We may experience anger, sadness, or joy, but these feelings are also temporary. Just like the weather, our emotional states change from moment to moment. This awareness allows us to step back and observe our feelings without getting overwhelmed by them. We learn to let go of negative emotions, knowing they will pass. Meditation is a powerful tool to help us grasp the concept of impermanence. In meditation, we practice observing our thoughts as they arise. We can visualize them like clouds drifting across the sky. Some may be dark and stormy, while others are light and fluffy. No matter their appearance, they all eventually pass. By cultivating this practice, we learn to detach from our thoughts, realizing they do not define us. In Buddhism, there's a story about a monk who, during his travels, came across a river. He saw a woman struggling to cross it. Without hesitation, he offered her his help. As they crossed together, he carried her safely to the other side. Once they reached the shore, the woman thanked him and went on her way. The monk, however, continued to think about the encounter long after. He found himself dwelling on it, wondering why she hadn't expressed more gratitude or how the experience had changed him. His fellow monk noticed his distraction and asked, "Why do you still carry her across the river in your mind?" The monk replied, "I just can't stop thinking about her." The fellow monk smiled and gently said, "You have already crossed the river. Why are you still holding on to her?" This story illustrates how we often carry past experiences, relationships, or emotions long after they have served their purpose. By recognizing that these things are impermanent, we can choose to let them go and focus on the present moment. Furthermore, our desires are often tied to the belief that certain things will bring us lasting happiness. We may desire a new job, a perfect relationship, or even material possessions, thinking they will fill a void in our lives. But when we achieve these things, we often find that the happiness they bring is fleeting. This is because everything we desire is subject to change. When we understand that true happiness comes from within, rather than external sources, we begin to let go of our attachments. Buddhism encourages us to cultivate contentment with what we have, rather than always striving for more. This doesn't mean we shouldn't set goals or seek growth. It simply means that our happiness shouldn't depend on external circumstances. Instead, we can find joy in the present moment, appreciating what we have right now. Letting go of our attachments can be challenging. We may find ourselves resisting the idea of impermanence, fearing the unknown. However, Buddhism teaches that accepting impermanence is a pathway to liberation. When we let go of our need for control, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with trying to hold on to things that are not meant to last. In this process, compassion plays a significant role. By recognizing the impermanence of our own experiences, we can better empathize with others. We understand that everyone is navigating their own struggles, and just like us, they are learning to let go. This shared experience fosters a sense of connection and compassion for one another. As we continue to explore the concept of impermanence, we learn to appreciate the beauty in every moment. Whether it's the laughter of a friend, the warmth of the sun on our skin, or the quiet stillness of a peaceful evening, these moments are precious and fleeting. By acknowledging their impermanence, we can fully immerse ourselves in these experiences, savoring them without clinging. In summary, understanding the wisdom of impermanence in Buddhism can help us let go of attachments, emotions, and desires that no longer serve us. By embracing the reality that everything is temporary, we can find peace and freedom in our lives. As we continue this journey together, remember that every step towards letting go is a step towards a lighter, more fulfilling existence. Detachment versus indifference, a delicate balance. In our journey of life, we often hear the terms detachment and indifference. At first glance, they might seem similar, but they hold very different meanings. Understanding the difference between these two concepts is crucial for our emotional and spiritual growth. Detachment is an essential practice in Buddhism. It teaches us to let go of our attachments and to be free from the clutches of our desires. This doesn't mean we stop caring about people or experiences. Instead, it means we can enjoy them without being overly attached to them. When we are detached, we are open to life as it is, without the need to control it or cling to it tightly. We learn to appreciate moments without holding on to them, allowing ourselves to experience life more fully. Imagine you are watching a beautiful sunset. If you are attached to that moment, you might feel sadness when it fades away. You may find yourself wishing for it to last forever, creating frustration and disappointment. However, if you practice detachment, you can enjoy the beauty of the sunset while understanding that it is a fleeting moment. You embrace its impermanence, savoring the colors and the serenity it brings without the fear of loss. This mindset allows you to find joy in the experience while accepting its natural end. On the other hand, indifference can be a harmful state of being. When we become indifferent, we lose our ability to connect with the world and the people around us. Indifference is like a cold wall that separates us from our emotions and from others. When we are indifferent, we may stop caring about our loved ones or the experiences that once brought us joy. We might become numb, failing to engage with life fully. For instance, think about a friend who has gone through a tough time. If you are detached, you can offer your support and empathy while understanding that their pain is their journey. But if you become indifferent, you might ignore their struggles, thinking it doesn't affect you. You lose the opportunity to connect, to understand, and to share in their experience. This can lead to loneliness, both for you and your friend. So how do we find the balance between detachment and indifference? It starts with mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we can acknowledge our feelings without becoming overly attached to them. We learn to experience emotions fully, recognizing their presence while understanding that they are temporary. This practice allows us to engage with life meaningfully without becoming burdened by our attachments. Another essential aspect of this balance is compassion. When we cultivate compassion, we open our hearts to others while maintaining our sense of self. Compassion allows us to be present for our loved ones, offering support and understanding. Yet, it also reminds us that their experiences are theirs alone. We can care deeply while also recognizing that we cannot control their outcomes. This balance is crucial for our mental well-being and the health of our relationships. As we navigate this delicate balance, we might encounter moments that challenge us. You might find yourself feeling overly attached to a relationship or a possession, leading to anxiety or fear of loss. In these moments, take a step back and breathe. Remind yourself that everything is temporary. Allow yourself to feel those emotions, but don't let them consume you. Instead, practice letting go and trust that the universe has its path. Engaging in activities that promote emotional awareness can also help us maintain this balance. Journaling, meditation, and mindful breathing exercises are excellent tools to help us process our feelings. When we write down our thoughts, we create distance between ourselves and our emotions. This can help us see our attachments more clearly and decide how to navigate them. Let's also explore the role of gratitude in this balance. When we practice gratitude, we acknowledge the beauty and richness of our experiences without clinging to them. Gratitude helps us to appreciate the moment without the fear of losing it. Instead of focusing on what we might lose, we celebrate what we have right now. This shift in perspective allows us to be present and enjoy life while remaining open to the inevitable changes that come our way. In summary, the distinction between detachment and indifference is vital for our growth and happiness. Detachment allows us to enjoy life without being overly attached, while indifference can isolate us from our emotions and connections. By cultivating mindfulness, compassion, and gratitude, we can navigate this balance effectively. Let go of the need to control every aspect of your life, but engage fully with the experiences and people around you. Embrace the beauty of impermanence and understand that each moment is precious. By doing so, you will find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment in your life. Remember, life is a delicate dance of letting go and embracing the present. Each step brings you closer to your true self. The role of mindfulness in letting go. In the bustling world we live in, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. We often find ourselves dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about what the future holds. Mindfulness is a powerful tool that can help us anchor ourselves in the present moment, making it easier to let go of the weight we carry. So, what is mindfulness? At its core, mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It involves observing our thoughts and feelings with kindness and curiosity, allowing us to see things as they are, rather than how we wish they were. By embracing mindfulness, we create a space where we can let go of negativity, fear, and attachment. Imagine you're sitting quietly in a park. As you breathe in the fresh air, you notice the sounds around you. The rustling leaves, the laughter of children, the distant hum of traffic. Instead of getting lost in your thoughts, you focus on these sensations. You become aware of how your body feels against the bench, the warmth of the sun on your skin. This simple act of tuning into the present moment allows you to release the weight of your worries and be fully alive in that experience. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to recognize when we are clinging to thoughts or emotions that no longer serve us. For instance, if you find yourself ruminating about a past argument, mindfulness invites you to acknowledge that thought without getting wrapped up in it. You might say to yourself, here is that thought again, and then gently guide your focus back to your breath or your surroundings. This is the essence of letting go. It's not about forcing ourselves to stop thinking or feeling. It's about creating space for those thoughts to exist without letting them control us. Mindfulness also teaches us about impermanence. Everything in life is in constant flux, and our thoughts and feelings are no different. When we hold on to them tightly, we suffer. But by practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe them as passing clouds in the sky, floating in and out of our consciousness. This perspective helps us realize that no matter how strong or persistent a feeling may seem, it will eventually fade. Just like the changing seasons, our emotional states are temporary. Another important aspect of mindfulness is self-compassion. When we let go of harsh judgments about ourselves and embrace kindness, we create a fertile ground for healing. Instead of criticizing ourselves for feeling sad or anxious, we can say, "It's okay to feel this way. I am human, and I am allowed to experience these emotions." This gentle acceptance allows us to acknowledge our pain without letting it define us. Practicing mindfulness can also involve engaging in daily rituals that ground us in the present. You might find joy in simple activities like drinking tea, going for a walk, or even washing the dishes. The key is to bring your full attention to these tasks, immersing yourself in the sensations they bring. For example, when washing dishes, notice the warmth of the water, the texture of the soap bubbles, and the rhythm of your movements. As you focus on these details, you'll find it easier to let go of distractions and connect with the present. Mindfulness meditation is another effective practice for letting go. Setting aside just a few minutes each day to sit quietly and breathe can create profound shifts in your ability to release attachment. Start by finding a comfortable position, closing your eyes, and focusing on your breath. When thoughts arise, acknowledge them without judgment, and gently return your focus to your breath. Over time, this practice will strengthen your capacity to remain present and let go of what no longer serves you. As you deepen your mindfulness practice, you may also discover the beauty of gratitude. When we cultivate a mindset of gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. This shift allows us to release feelings of scarcity and embrace abundance. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the things you are grateful for, whether it's a supportive friend, a beautiful sunset, or a warm meal. By focusing on gratitude, you create a positive mindset that fosters letting go. In the journey of letting go, mindfulness serves as a guiding light. It helps us navigate our emotions, embrace the present moment, and cultivate compassion for ourselves. By practicing mindfulness, we create a space where letting go becomes not only possible but also liberating. As we conclude this exploration of mindfulness and letting go, remember that this practice is a lifelong journey. Be patient with yourself as you learn to let go of attachments and embrace the beauty of the present moment. Each step you take toward mindfulness brings you closer to a lighter heart and a more fulfilling life. In the end, the practice of mindfulness is not about perfection. It's about presence. So, take a deep breath, ground yourself in the here and now, and allow the process of letting go to unfold naturally. Overcoming fear and control, embracing change. Life is a river, constantly flowing and changing. Sometimes, we find ourselves trying to build dams to hold back that river, fearing what might happen if we let it flow freely. We cling to control, thinking it brings us safety and security. But in reality, this fear only tightens our grip on life, causing us to miss out on the beauty that comes with change. Let's take a moment to understand how we can overcome this fear and embrace the changes that life brings. Fear is a natural part of being human. It often arises when we face the unknown, when we encounter situations that are outside our control. Think about a time when you were faced with a significant change, perhaps moving to a new city or starting a new job. Your mind may have raced with worries about what could go wrong. But what if, instead of focusing on those fears, you shifted your perspective? What if you viewed change as an opportunity for growth? Buddhism teaches us that change is inevitable. The world around us is in a constant state of flux. Our emotions, relationships, and even our bodies change over time. Recognizing this truth can help us develop a sense of acceptance. When we accept that change is a part of life, we can begin to let go of our fears and allow ourselves to flow with the current. Let's consider an example. Imagine a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. It must break free from the protective casing that has kept it safe. This transformation can be frightening, but it is also necessary for the butterfly to embrace its true self. If the butterfly clung to the chrysalis out of fear, it would never experience the freedom of flight. Similarly, we must be willing to let go of our fears and embrace the changes that life presents us. One way to overcome fear is through mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to be present in the moment, observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we can recognize our fears as just that, thoughts. They do not have to control us. By acknowledging these feelings without reacting to them, we create space for courage to grow. Another powerful practice is to take small steps towards change. Rather than jumping into a significant life shift all at once, start with little changes. For instance, if you fear speaking in public, begin by sharing your thoughts in a small group of friends. Gradually, as you become more comfortable, you can expand your comfort zone. Each small step builds your confidence, allowing you to embrace more significant changes with open arms. It's also important to remember that change can lead to positive outcomes. Often, we focus on the worst-case scenarios when faced with uncertainty. But what if you imagine the best possible outcome instead? Allow yourself to dream about the possibilities that change can bring. Maybe a new job leads you to incredible opportunities, or a new relationship opens your heart in ways you never thought possible. In Buddhism, there's a concept called non-attachment, which means not clinging to outcomes. When we let go of our need for control, we can experience life as it unfolds. This doesn't mean we stop caring about our goals. Instead, we learn to hold them lightly. When we're attached to specific outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment. But by embracing change without rigid expectations, we allow ourselves to experience the beauty of life as it comes. Sometimes, it helps to reflect on past experiences where change led to growth. Think back to a time when you were afraid of something new, but in the end, it turned out to be a positive experience. By recalling these moments, you can build a reservoir of confidence that reminds you of your resilience. It's also essential to cultivate a supportive environment. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to embrace change rather than fear it. Share your goals and fears with friends or family members who uplift you. Their support can provide comfort and motivation as you navigate the uncertain waters of change. As we reflect on the nature of fear and control, it's vital to remember that life is a journey of learning. Each time we face our fears and allow change to unfold, we grow stronger and wiser. Change can be uncomfortable, but it's also an opportunity for discovery. Embrace it. Let go of the need to control every aspect of your life. Instead, trust in the flow of the universe. Just like a tree sways with the wind, we too can learn to bend and adapt. When we let go, we create space for new possibilities and experiences. In summary, overcoming fear and control is a crucial step in embracing change. By recognizing that change is a natural part of life, practicing mindfulness, taking small steps, and surrounding ourselves with supportive people, we can learn to navigate the ever-changing landscape of our existence. The more we let go of our fears, the more we can embrace the beauty of life's flow. Remember, the river of life is always moving, and by allowing ourselves to be carried along, we open ourselves up to new adventures and experiences. So take a deep breath, relax, and let the river of life guide you. The emotional release, forgiveness, and acceptance. Letting go is more than just releasing physical things or old habits. It's a deeply emotional process. Often, we hold on to anger, resentment, or pain that weighs us down and keeps us trapped in the past. But what if I told you that these emotions are like chains, keeping you bound to suffering? By learning to forgive and accept, you free yourself from these chains, allowing your heart to breathe again. Imagine a jar filled with dirty water. If you let it sit, eventually, the dirt will settle to the bottom and the water will clear. Your mind and heart are the same. When we stop stirring up past hurts and allow forgiveness and acceptance to take root, our hearts become clear, and we can see the beauty in life again. The power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most challenging, yet most powerful, acts we can perform. It's often misunderstood as something we do for others. In truth, forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves. When we forgive someone, it doesn't mean we approve of their actions or forget what happened. Instead, we are choosing to release the emotional grip the situation has on us. We are saying, I no longer allow this hurt to control my thoughts, feelings, or actions. Think of it like this. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Every time someone wrongs you or you experience hurt, another stone gets added. Over time, the weight becomes unbearable, and yet we continue to carry it, thinking that holding onto the pain somehow protects us. But in reality, it only slows us down. Forgiveness is the act of emptying the backpack, one stone at a time, until we feel light again. Buddhism teaches us that clinging to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Holding on to anger, even if it feels justified, only harms us in the end. By forgiving, we are not excusing the harm done to us. We are choosing to stop suffering because of it. Forgiveness and karma. Many of us believe that forgiveness somehow lets people off the hook. But remember, Buddhism teaches us about karma, the law of cause and effect. Everyone's actions, good or bad, have consequences. By forgiving, we are not removing those consequences. We are simply choosing not to let their actions continue to harm us. Karma will take care of the rest. When you forgive, you are breaking the cycle of negative karma. Instead of reacting with anger or hatred, you respond with compassion and understanding. This shift in energy not only helps you but also contributes to healing the world around you. The ripple effect of forgiveness can be profound, touching lives in ways you may never know. Acceptance, embracing what is. While forgiveness releases the emotional chains of the past, acceptance is about making peace with the present. Life doesn't always go the way we expect. We face disappointments, challenges, and changes that we can't control. Acceptance is not about giving up or settling for less. It's about acknowledging what is and finding peace with it. Imagine standing in a river, trying to hold onto a rock while the current pulls you in another direction. The harder you grip the rock, the more exhausted you become, and you might even hurt yourself in the process. But if you let go and allow the current to guide you, you find that you are carried along effortlessly. Acceptance is like letting go of that rock and trusting the flow of life. Acceptance doesn't mean we don't strive for better, or that we are happy with every situation. It simply means we stop fighting reality. We stop wasting our energy on things we can't change and focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. Learning to accept yourself. One of the hardest things to accept is often ourselves. We are our own worst critics, constantly judging our actions, appearance, and even our emotions. But self-acceptance is the foundation for letting go of emotional burdens. If we can't accept ourselves, flaws and all, how can we expect to forgive others? Buddhism teaches that all beings are inherently worthy. You are enough just as you are. Accepting yourself doesn't mean you stop growing or improving, but it means you start from a place of compassion rather than criticism. When you accept yourself, you are better able to accept others and the world around you. The healing power of acceptance. Acceptance is not just a mental practice. It has a profound effect on our emotions and physical well-being. When we resist reality, we create stress, anxiety, and even physical tension in our bodies. But when we accept things as they are, we invite peace and relaxation into our lives. For example, think about a time when you resisted a situation. Maybe it was a change at work, a breakup, or even something as simple as bad weather. The more you resisted, the more frustrated and upset you became. But the moment you accepted the situation, even if it wasn't what you wanted, you felt a sense of relief. That's the power of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of everything, or that you have to stay in harmful situations. It simply means you stop fighting what is, and in doing so, you free yourself to respond with clarity and wisdom. Forgiving yourself. Just as we must learn to forgive others, we must also learn to forgive ourselves. We all make mistakes. We all have moments where we wish we had acted differently or said something kinder, but holding on to guilt or shame only keeps us stuck in the past. Buddhism teaches that the path to enlightenment is one of constant growth and learning. Mistakes are not failures, they are opportunities for learning. When we forgive ourselves, we allow room for growth and transformation. We recognize that we are human, and we give ourselves the same compassion we would offer a dear friend. A practice of letting go. Forgiveness and acceptance are not one-time actions. They are practices we must engage with regularly. Some days, it will feel easy to let go, while other days, it may feel impossible. But with each attempt, we strengthen our ability to release the emotional burdens that weigh us down. You might begin by practicing small acts of forgiveness or acceptance in your daily life. Maybe it's forgiving someone for a minor inconvenience or accepting a situation that didn't go as planned. Each time you practice, you'll find it becomes easier, and the emotional release you experience will bring more peace and clarity into your life. As you continue on this journey, remember that letting go is a process. It's not about achieving perfection, but about making space for peace, compassion, and wisdom in your life. With each act of forgiveness and acceptance, you move closer to the freedom and lightness that comes from truly letting go. Meditative practices for letting go. Let's begin by closing our eyes and taking a deep breath in. Feel the air filling your lungs, and as you exhale, imagine releasing all the tension you carry. This is the essence of meditation, a tool for letting go. In Buddhism, meditation is not just a practice. It's a pathway to understanding ourselves and the world around us. One effective way to let go is through mindfulness meditation. This practice encourages us to focus on the present moment without judgment. When thoughts of the past or worries about the future arise, acknowledge them, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath. This simple act of returning to the breath teaches us that we can choose where to focus our minds. By recognizing that our thoughts do not define us, we create space for new experiences. Another practice is visualization. Picture a beautiful river flowing peacefully. As you watch the water, imagine it carrying away all your burdens and worries. Each thought or concern can be seen as a leaf floating on the surface of the water. With every exhale, visualize the leaves being swept away, leaving you lighter and freer. This technique helps us understand that just as the river flows, so do our emotions. They come and go, and we don't have to hold on to them. You can also practice letting go through body scan meditation. Begin by lying down comfortably and directing your attention to different parts of your body, starting from your toes and moving up to the crown of your head. As you focus on each area, notice any tension or discomfort. As you exhale, imagine that tension melting away, releasing any negativity held in those spaces. This practice connects you with your body and helps you recognize where you may be holding on to stress or anxiety. Journaling can be a powerful meditative practice as well. Take a few moments each day to write down your thoughts and feelings. When you express what's on your mind, it can be a form of release. Write about what you want to let go of and be honest with yourself. After you've finished, Read what you wrote, and then consider tearing up the paper or burning it. This symbolic act can help you feel the weight lift off your shoulders. Walking meditation is another beautiful way to embrace the practice of letting go. Find a quiet place, preferably in nature. As you walk, pay attention to each step you take. Feel the ground beneath your feet and notice the rhythm of your breath. If thoughts start to crowd your mind, visualize them as clouds drifting by. Acknowledge their presence, but let them float away, allowing your focus to return to the simple act of walking. With every step, imagine you're shedding layers of tension and worry. In Buddhism, mantra meditation is also a valuable practice. A mantra is a word or phrase that you repeat silently or aloud. It can be anything that resonates with you, such as "I release" or "I am free." As you chant your mantra, feel its energy wash over you. With each repetition, visualize letting go of what holds you back. This repetition not only calms the mind, but reinforces your intention to embrace freedom and peace. Sometimes, sharing your feelings with others can be a meditative practice. Find a trusted friend or mentor and talk openly about what you're struggling to let go of. Speaking your truth can be a relief, helping you gain clarity on what you need to release. Remember, we are not alone on this journey. Sharing can lighten our hearts and make the process of letting go feel less daunting. Practicing gratitude can also aid in the process of letting go. At the end of each day, reflect on what you are thankful for. Acknowledge the lessons learned from your past experiences. This shift in perspective can help you appreciate what was while encouraging you to move forward without attachment. Gratitude opens our hearts, allowing us to let go of negativity and embrace positivity. Creating a sacred space for meditation can enhance your practice. Find a quiet corner in your home where you can sit comfortably. Surround yourself with items that bring you peace, like candles, crystals, or plants. This space becomes a sanctuary where you can regularly return to practice letting go. Each time you enter this space, remind yourself of your intention to release what no longer serves you. Finally, embrace the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is in constant flux, including our emotions, thoughts, and experiences. By recognizing that nothing lasts forever, we can learn to let go more easily. When you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself that this moment, too, shall pass. Embracing impermanence frees us from the need to hold on tightly, allowing us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. Letting go is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and practice to truly release what weighs us down. Through these meditative practices, you can cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and develop the ability to let go. Each step you take on this path brings you closer to a lighter, more fulfilling life. Remember, the power to let go lies within you. Embrace it, and you will find peace and freedom on your journey. Karma and letting go. Releasing burdens. Karma is often understood as the law of cause and effect. It teaches us that our actions have consequences, not just for ourselves, but also for those around us. Understanding karma can be liberating, especially when it comes to the practice of letting go. When we grasp this concept, we can learn to release the burdens that hold us back, freeing ourselves from the past and opening up to the present. In Buddhism, karma is not simply about punishment or reward. It's more about the interconnectedness of all beings and how our choices shape our experiences. Imagine planting a seed. The type of seed you choose will determine what kind of plant grows. Similarly, our actions, whether kind, harmful, or neutral, are the seeds we plant. If we choose to act out of anger, jealousy, or fear, we may harvest a life filled with those very same feelings. But if we act with love, compassion, and understanding, we can cultivate joy and peace. Letting go of negative karma means recognizing that we have the power to change our future. We can choose to break free from cycles of negative thoughts and actions. This doesn't mean ignoring the consequences of our past actions. Rather, it involves acknowledging them and choosing to move forward differently. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a hurtful action or negative thought. If you refuse to let go, the weight becomes unbearable. But if you decide to take out those stones, one by one, you will feel lighter and more free. This process of letting go is also about forgiveness. Often, we hold on to grudges and resentments, believing that we are protecting ourselves. Yet, in reality, it is we who become trapped. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for ourselves. When we forgive, we release the grip that past actions have on our present. This doesn't mean we condone the actions of others, but rather that we choose to free ourselves from their hold. By letting go of anger and resentment, we open our hearts to healing and peace. As we engage with the concept of karma, we must also understand that every moment is a chance to start anew. No matter what has happened in the past, we have the power to make different choices today. Each decision, each thought, and each action can lead us down a different path. This awareness allows us to break free from the chains of our past and step into a brighter future. Additionally, practicing mindfulness can help us recognize the patterns in our lives that may not serve us anymore. When we are mindful, we become aware of our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This awareness allows us to see where we might be holding on to negative experiences or beliefs. By simply observing these thoughts and feelings, we create space for change. We learn to respond to situations with clarity rather than reacting out of habit. To truly embrace the practice of letting go, we can also cultivate gratitude. When we focus on what we are grateful for, we shift our attention away from what we lack or what has hurt us. Gratitude helps us appreciate the present moment and all the good things in our lives, no matter how small. This shift in perspective can be incredibly freeing. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes or disappointments, we begin to see the beauty that surrounds us. Furthermore, consider the teachings of the Buddha, who encouraged his followers to let go of attachments and desires. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from craving, our constant desire for things to be different than they are. By learning to let go of our desires, we can find peace and contentment in the present moment. This practice does not mean that we stop having dreams or aspirations. Rather, it invites us to pursue them with a lighter heart, free from the weight of attachment. Letting go also involves embracing change. Change is a fundamental part of life, yet many of us resist it. We cling to the familiar, even when it no longer serves us. By accepting that change is inevitable, we can learn to flow with life rather than against it. This acceptance can bring a sense of calm, knowing that we are part of a greater process, constantly evolving and growing. In conclusion, the relationship between karma and letting go is powerful and profound. By understanding how our actions shape our experiences, we can choose to release the burdens of the past and cultivate a future filled with positivity and growth. Through forgiveness, mindfulness, gratitude, and acceptance of change, we can embrace the transformative power of letting go. This journey is not always easy, but it is deeply rewarding. By taking these steps, we can free ourselves from the chains of our past and open our hearts to the possibilities of the present and future. Navigating relationships through non-attachment. In our lives, relationships play a vital role. They bring us joy, support, and companionship. Yet, they can also bring pain, disappointment, and heartache. This duality makes relationships one of the most complex aspects of human existence. But what if I told you that embracing non-attachment could transform how you relate to others? Non-attachment does not mean we stop caring about people or become indifferent. Rather, it means we let go of the need to possess or control others. Imagine a friendship that feels suffocating. You may find yourself constantly worried about what your friend thinks or how they feel about you. This can lead to anxiety and stress, making it hard to enjoy the relationship. Non-attachment encourages us to appreciate our friends for who they are without imposing our expectations on them. When we practice non-attachment, we become more open and accepting. We can love our friends and family freely without the fear of losing them. For instance, think of a flower in a garden. We can admire its beauty without trying to keep it forever. When it wilts, we appreciate the joy it brought us and let it go, knowing that more flowers will bloom in the future. This perspective allows us to enjoy our relationships without the weight of anxiety or possessiveness. Non-attachment can also be a powerful tool in romantic relationships. It may seem counterintuitive, but letting go of the need to control our partner's actions can lead to deeper connections. When we cling too tightly, we can inadvertently stifle their growth. Instead, let us nurture our partner's individuality and allow them to thrive. This fosters a healthier relationship built on trust and understanding. One beautiful aspect of Buddhism is the concept of loving kindness, or metta. This practice encourages us to wish happiness and well-being for ourselves and others without any attachment to the outcome. We can practice this by repeating simple phrases, such as, "May you be happy," "May you be healthy," "May you be safe." This practice can help us cultivate compassion and non-attachment in our relationships. However, non-attachment does not mean we should tolerate unhealthy relationships. It is essential to recognize when a relationship is toxic or harmful. Non-attachment empowers us to make choices that are in our best interest, even if it means stepping away from someone we care about. We can still send them love from a distance, but we must prioritize our well-being. As we navigate our relationships, we should also remember the importance of communication. Open and honest conversations can help us clarify our feelings and expectations. When we share our thoughts with others, we allow them to understand us better and reduce misunderstandings. This practice builds trust and fosters a deeper bond, leading to a more harmonious relationship. Another essential aspect of non-attachment in relationships is acceptance. People are inherently flawed, and we must recognize that we cannot change others. Instead of trying to mold someone into our ideal image, we can accept them for who they are. This acceptance brings peace and allows love to flourish without conditions. In relationships, it is also vital to practice gratitude. Focusing on what we appreciate in others helps shift our perspective away from what we lack. When we express gratitude, we reinforce the positive aspects of our relationships and foster deeper connections. A simple "thank you" can go a long way in strengthening bonds and making others feel valued. Let's also talk about the role of forgiveness in relationships. Holding on to grudges can create distance and tension. When we practice forgiveness, we release ourselves from the burden of resentment. This act does not excuse someone's behavior but frees us from the weight of anger. By letting go, we open the door to healing and renewed connections. As we grow and change, so too do our relationships. Sometimes, people drift apart as their paths diverge. This is a natural part of life, and it can be challenging to accept. However, by embracing non-attachment, we can cherish the moments we shared without clinging to the past. Each relationship teaches us valuable lessons, and we can carry those lessons with us as we move forward. Ultimately, navigating relationships through non-attachment leads to greater freedom. We can love deeply while remaining open to change and growth. This balance allows us to enjoy the beauty of connections without the fear of loss. Non-attachment empowers us to cultivate meaningful relationships that enrich our lives, rather than drain our energy. In conclusion, embracing non-attachment in our relationships can profoundly impact our well-being. By letting go of the need to control and possess, we create space for love, compassion, and acceptance. We can navigate our relationships with grace, allowing them to evolve naturally. As we practice non-attachment, we can enjoy the journey of connection, knowing that each moment is a precious gift. Conclusion: liberation through letting go. Final reflection: as we reach the end of our journey together, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound lessons we have learned about the power of letting go. This path is not merely about releasing physical possessions or relationships. It is about freeing our minds and hearts from the chains of attachment that bind us. When we learn to let go, we open ourselves to a life filled with possibilities, peace, and profound joy. Think about the nature of our existence. Every day, we encounter change. Seasons shift, people come and go, and life unfolds in ways we often do not expect. Yet, in our quest for security, we often cling to the past, fearing the unknown. We hold on tightly to what we know, thinking it will bring us happiness. But true happiness comes from embracing the present moment and allowing life to flow. Let's consider the river. It moves freely, flowing around obstacles, changing course when necessary. It does not resist or hold on to the rocks in its path. Instead, it embraces its journey. Like the river, we too can learn to navigate life's challenges with grace. When we let go of our fears and the need to control everything, we create space for new experiences to enter our lives. Remember the teachings of the Buddha, who emphasized that suffering arises from attachment. When we cling to ideas, people, or outcomes, we invite disappointment and pain. However, when we practice letting go, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and acceptance. This acceptance is not about giving up, but about trusting that life unfolds as it should. Forgiveness plays a vital role in this process. Holding on to grudges only weighs us down. It is like carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents a negative feeling or a past hurt. When we forgive, we gently place those rocks down, freeing ourselves from their burden. This act of letting go allows us to step into a lighter, brighter future. We have also explored the importance of mindfulness in our journey of letting go. Mindfulness teaches us to be present, to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. It allows us to recognize when we are clinging to something that no longer serves us. Through mindfulness, we can gently guide ourselves toward letting go, creating a path to liberation. As you move forward, remember that letting go is a practice, not a destination. It takes time and patience. There will be moments when you find yourself holding on again, and that is okay. Each time you recognize it, you have an opportunity to practice letting go anew. Celebrate those moments of awareness. They are steps toward your freedom. In our discussions, we have touched on various aspects of letting go: the impermanence of life, the balance between attachment and detachment, and the importance of self-compassion. Embrace these lessons as you continue your journey. Let them guide you in your daily life, helping you navigate the challenges that come your way. As we conclude, I invite you to carry these teachings in your heart. Embrace the power of letting go in all areas of your life: relationships, expectations, and even your own self-doubt. Allow the wisdom of letting go to transform your experience, leading you toward a life filled with joy, acceptance, and peace. Before we part ways, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale deeply, feeling the fresh air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, imagine releasing all that no longer serves you. Let go of the weight of your worries and feel the freedom that comes with it. As we end this series, I encourage you to return to these teachings whenever you need a reminder of the beauty of letting go. You have the tools to embrace change and navigate life with grace. Remember, true liberation comes from within, and by letting go, you open the door to a life of endless possibilities. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May your path be filled with light, love, and the profound wisdom of letting go. Always remember, when you release what holds you back, you make space for the incredible beauty that life has to offer. Let go and live freely.